Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Fiction Room. Today's writing prompt is brought to us by username RedArcs. The prompt is, your daughter has been begging you for a pony, and you told her to write a letter to Santa. On Christmas morning, you find a fire-breathing horse in your front yard and a package by your front door. Looks like she wrote a letter to Satan, and he delivered. Our first story today is written by Dinosaurs.
Don't worry about it, honey, my wife consoled me. A pony just isn't realistic.
I know that, but she doesn't. I just don't want to see our daughter crying on Christmas, I said as I climbed into bed and pulled the string to turn off the bedside lamp.
She'll understand.
I hoped she would. Last year we got her a puppy and made her the happiest girl in the neighborhood. But she can't have everything she wants. She'll understand.
Daddy! Daddy!
My daughter screamed, jumping and pulling on the covers of our bed. I squinted my eyes open. The clock next to the bed said 7:06 a.m.
What is it, baby?
My wife asked groggily.
Pony! Pony! The front yard!
My eyes shot open. I got out of bed and rushed down the flight of stairs to the front door. I twisted the brass lock and flung the wooden frame open. In the middle of our front walkway was a horse with a crimson-red coat and fire flowing from his nostrils with every exhale. It was tied to a stake on the right side of the lawn. The yard was covered with a light blanket of snow save for a patch of burnt grass where the horse was breathing onto. My daughter ran and jumped towards the hellish beast and hugged its front right leg with unadulterated excitement.
Can I name him, Daddy?
She asked eagerly. I had no response. I looked down by my feet at a package addressed to my daughter. The return address said, Lucy. I opened the package, atop of which was a letter. Dear Kayla, thank you for your letter. It sounds to me like your parents really don't want you to have a pony. Lucky for them, this isn't a pony. Enjoy the stallion. Signed, Satan. P.S. In this package you also received a small fire extinguisher. You will need it. Have your parents show you how to use it. Our second story today is written by Ramses the Pigeon. Hi, so I think I might have been the victim of a prank, but... I see. So this really is Hell's telephone number, is that it? Well, whether I believe it or not, there's... Look, my daughter asked for a pony, see? That's not really relevant, is it? I mean, yes, obviously she likes it, but... Of course it's a problem! Where am I supposed to keep a 1,200-pound horse? No, I didn't weigh it. It was an estimate. Is there someone else there that I can talk to? Hi, so listen, I was just telling the other... As in, like, Satan? Hell's head honcho? Well, for starters, I always pictured, well, you as a male. No, I've never been particularly religious, but the presence of a sulfur-spewing equine on my front lawn is making me rethink a few things. That is, as I've been trying to say, the reason for my call. Now, can you please explain why my front garden has been reduced to charcoal? She's 4 years old. She obviously met Santa. She just can't spell very well. Furthermore, I don't recall the words fire, flaming, or total destruction of meticulously maintained property appearing anywhere in her letter. At the moment, she's riding around on its back. Fluffy sunshine, I think. Look, why does any of this matter? I cannot keep a horse, one spawned from hell or otherwise, on my property. What? Oh, yes. No, I didn't open it. I was a bit preoccupied. Why? Is there going to be a tiny fire-breathing quail in it or something? Fine. Hang on. It's a wallet. No, I get it. It's because dads always get wallets, right? It's always wallets or ties. Sure, thanks. Happy Christmas to you. Now, can we please get back to... hello? Hello? Ah, damn it. Our third and final story today is written by Wok Kano. One of my favorite sounds in the world is the happy laughter or squealing from my daughter. Unfortunately, right now, I couldn't enjoy it because I was struck dumb by the object of her happiness. In the front lawn stood a pony, or a horse. I never could quite tell the difference sometimes. And I had no idea why it was there, much less how. It was a beautiful animal, glossy black coat with a fiery red mane, yet something seemed off. Its eyes glowed with an eerie yellow light that belied a hidden intelligence. That and it breathed fire that melted patches of snow. Those were really odd traits. I was so enthralled by the sight that I didn't stop my daughter from running out the door. She ran straight to the pony and threw her arms around its neck, hugging it tightly, laughing happily. Thankfully, the horse didn't breathe fire on her. If anything, it looked like it enjoyed the attention and nuzzled her back.
Stephen? What on earth?
My wife gasped at the sight, wrapping herself in her bathrobe.
Where did that pony come from?
I shook my head in disbelief, and when I took a step forward, my foot hit a package on the stoop. I bent over and picked it up, huffing at the weight, and looked curiously at the old-fashioned writing on the brown paper covering. Maybe this'll have some answers. Alice, sweetie, I called to my daughter, why don't you come back and put on some warmer clothes? Then can you lead the pony to the backyard, please? She grinned through her happy tears and nodded. She patted the pony's neck and raced back inside, stopping only to hug her mother and I. Squealing out her thank yous, she changed at light speed and ran back out. The pony waited patiently and followed her like a trained dog into the backyard. Thankfully, here in the country, we had room for animals, and it was soon running happily around, being chased and playfully chasing back Alice, who shrieked with glee. We stood in the warm house, watching an almost perfectly normal scene play out before us. I opened up the package and drew forth an old-fashioned sheaf of parchment paper, heavy, and also written on with old-fashioned handwriting. The rest of the package was a heavy red-bound leather book, a comb made of dark stone, and some leads and brittles. I started to read the letter, eyes widening in shock. My hands shook as I read, and soon my wife saw my expression.
Stephen, What's wrong?
Well, remember what I told Alice to do a few weeks ago? My voice trembled lightly as I spoke.
Of course, to write to Santa for a pony. I wonder who that generous Santa is. And where on earth did he find that pony?
Well, maybe it's more safe to say the pony was found under the earth. She looked at me, eyebrow curling with confusion.
What does that mean?
I coughed hesitantly. Well, apparently we should have read Alice's letter a little more carefully. She, didn't write to Santa so much as... I handed her the letter. She took it from me and started to read.
Satan?
She practically shrieked as she read the top part. She looked at me as if begging to say it was a joke, and I motioned for her to continue, mind reeling from what I read. To Mr. and Mrs. Greyfax, I do want to thank you for allowing Alice to write to me. She has lovely penmanship for her age, and as you might imagine, I don't receive as much pleasant mail. Don't you worry, this pony is a very docile breed and will not grow much larger than it is. It eats mortal fodder much like its terrestrial cousins, and is a generally well-behaved animal. I made sure to pick the nicest one in the herd. Of course, there will need to be some training, but I imagine Alice is up to the task. I enclosed some things for the pony, as well as a book on care. My wife's eyes were as round as saucers, and she looked at me fearfully. I could only hug her close as she continued to read. Also, I cleared things with Santa as well as God. They thought her letter was very nice as well, and gave their blessings in letting her have a hell pony. Also, don't worry, this does not constitute an act of Satanism. It's a Christianity act to be pleasant and understanding, and I have no problems rewarding such outstanding behavior. You are a credit to her behavior as fine parents. If you have any questions, do feel free to send a letter. Merry Christmas! We stood and stared at the letter, half expecting it to burst into flames or do something equally horrid or supernatural. Nothing happened, and we just looked at the cheery signature of Lucifer, also known as the Devil/Satan. We gazed out the window and continued to watch Alice romp around in the snow with the hell pony, laughing with delight as it huffed hot air at her, melting the snow.
What do we do?
My wife asked, voice filled with wonder. I guess keep the pony as long as Alice takes good care of it. My reply felt way too normal for the situation, and we chuckled at the strangeness of things. And maybe send a thank you note? What do you get him back for a present? Thanks for listening to The Fiction Room. If you like what you heard, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. It really does help us. But for now, stay safe out there, everyone. See you next time.